Okay, section 7.7, simple and compound interest. First, there's some vocabulary we have to go over. Interest is the amount that is earned or paid on the principal amount, so the money that you initially start with, and that's what this says here. Principal is the money that you put into an account, like let's say you put money into a bank. That's your principal. If you deposit $500 into a banking account, your principal is $500, what you start with. It could also be maybe you buy a new drum set for $500 and use a credit card. So now your principal amount on your credit card is $500. Based on that principal, interest is accrued, either for the good or the bad. If it's a bank, it's good. If it's for towards a credit card, it's bad. Now, simple interest is the interest earned only on the principal. We're going to talk about simple interest and compound interest. Simple is the first one, where it's only built on whatever initially you put into the account. An annual interest rate is the percentage of your initial amount that you put in that is interest. So we'll come to all of these definitions here are going to make more sense once we actually dive in and start applying some. So first of all, simple interest formula. Let's just say that you put, like we said, $500 into a bank. What banks do then is they will give you a percentage back, a percent interest back for using their bank. Usually it's not very high, but even so, you're getting some money just from letting your money sit in that bank account. You're going to accrue some extra money, and that's known as interest. So the formula for simple interest to determine how much extra you're going to get is I equal to PRT. Okay, where I stands for the interest or the simple interest, which is the extra money. We can think of it that way. P is our principal again, and that's the money we start with. R is our rate, whatever rate it's accruing at, and it's given to us as a percentage, so we're going to want to remember to turn that into a decimal. And then T is our time, how much this is taking, the time period this is taking process over. And we want to remember that this is always noted in years, so if we are doing something for like 6 months per se, we would write that as 0.5 because it has to be in terms of years. So 6 months is 0.5 of a year, half of a year. Alright, let's try example 1 and then move on to A and B. It says here, people buy bonds as a way of investing to earn money. If a $1,500 bond earns 4% simple interest per year on its purchase price, how much will it earn in interest after 2 years? Okay, first of all, they're telling us simple interest. So we know that we're going to use this formula we have above because that's what we're trying to find. So let's go ahead, since we've determined what formula we're going to use, and at this point it's easy because that's the only one we know, but that'll be something to keep in mind by the end of the lesson. We have I, P, R, and T as our variables. So we want to see what we can fill in that we know. It says here a $1,500 bond earns 4%. So we're initially putting in $1,500. So that's our principal amount, $1,500. 4% is a simple interest. So 4% is our rate. And we want to turn that into a decimal, so 0.04. Then it tells us we want to know how much it will earn in interest after 2 years. So our time is 2 years. We don't know what I is, so that's what we're going to have to solve for. So we're going to go ahead. I equal to PRT. In place of P is 1,500, in place of R is 0.04, and in place of time is 2. Once you have the formula set up, you can just pull out your calculator, multiply those values together. So 1,500 times 0.04 times 2 tells us 120. So that means at the end of 2 years, there is going to be an extra $120. And because it's a bond, you're investing it. So you're going to have an extra $120 under these qualifying marks, the 4% in the 2 years, if you were to invest this much. And that's pretty nice considering you don't have to do anything and you just make $120. All right, let's try letter A. A $1,000 bond earns 6% simple annual interest. That's key. Again, that's going to help us figure out what formula to use when and where. What is the interest earned after 4 years? So they want us to figure out how much extra money is there going to be. So again, IPRT, we know that we're putting in $1,000. So that's our principal that we start with. The rate is 6%, so that's 0.06. And the time period that this is happening over is 4, so 4 years. So again, they want us to find our interest, how much extra money now there is going to be based on putting $1,000 in. So it's 1,000 times 0.06 times 4. We can multiply, and we find that there is now going to be an extra $240. So $240 in interest. Again, good deal. Letter B. Find the simple interest, it's key, earned on $500 after 5 years in a money market account, paying 5%. Okay, so we want simple interest, IPRT, squeeze it in down there. $500 is initially put in, so that's our principal. Our rate is 5%, so that is 0.05. And our time is 5 years. I'm going to ask that you do this on each of these problems because it's going to help you organize yourself, especially in these kind of word problems. It's very important to be organized with what you're working with. So I equals PRT, 500 times 0.05 times 5 years. We find, let's see, 500, 125. So $125 interest is earned from this money market account. And these are probably a lot of words you hear your parents possibly talking about.